Dickbag Patrol in color.
I don't really have an axe to grind with anybody. It's just interesting how you see these non-attorneys. They'll cite a big section of law and say that you're in violation, or they'll cite a case to say that this stands for the proposition that supports their side. But then when you read their cases, it's complete nonsense. For example,
so let me just show everybody. This guy's name is Dickbag Patrol. He makes videos about me. You might want to look up the case called Bette Midler versus Ford Motor Company. You're going to get your cease and desist letter in the next 24 hours. If you don't take down the videos where you mimic my voice, I'll sue you. I'm suing you next. You're the next person I'm suing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Pure nonsense. It's even more annoying when they threaten to sue you for no reason.
I saw a video today by someone who hates chili saying that I violated the UCMJ because in one of my videos, I created a parody of myself wearing my camis from the Marines. And it says right in that code section that the only way that section applies is if you confusingly convince someone you're an active duty service member. And of course, everybody knows that I'm not active duty. I've been out for years. So I just want you guys to understand, don't believe anything these guys say because they don't know the law. They don't know what they're talking about.
So, first of all, don't be putting words in my mouth. I don't hate Chili. I have never said I hated him. I believe he is a deeply confused, deeply troubled individual, and I pity him. I do find his behavior much of the time to be utterly contemptible, as is my right.
I hope you burn in hell. I hope you burn in hell, and I hope your kids get bone cancer. I think you're horrible. You're horrible people.
You don't find that contemptible? I think most people would. And as a personal injury attorney, I would think you, of all people, would find all of his flagrant disregard for road safety in the form of over 100 videos on his channel featuring him dangerously driving while live streaming very contemptible. I find it troubling that a personal injury attorney would even appear on a channel featuring that kind of behavior, let alone champion the individual responsible, and then on top of it claim he is a great driver. Are you going to represent Chili in his negligent driving case, Michael? I mean, he's the type of guy, you've seen his driving record, presumably. Yeah, Chili seems to be the type of driver that you would usually be suing.
He is amazing.
He is amazing. You got that right, buddy. Amazing. Yeah, great driver. Absolutely. So you're going to represent him in his case, his negligent driving case? That doesn't seem to be a direct answer, but that could mean so many things. Ha ha ha.
Whoa, I'm hydroplaning. Oh shit. Hydroplaning. Holy shit. Hydroplaning. Wow, that was crazy. I was just hydroplaning. Did you guys see that? Holy shit. I was sliding everywhere just now. That was terrifying. I was just hydroplaning big time. Holy Jiminy Crickets. That was absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful to be alive right now. Oh my God, that was terrifying.
I mean, wow. That is the reason I started making videos about Chili in the first place. His reckless disregard for everyone else's life.
You know, people already bitch and complain that I live stream and drive, but I don't really care because, well, the proof's in the pudding. I've been fortunate with being a driver. I've been fortunate in that regard.
I mean, how do you defend against that in court or on general principle?
And look, I know a lot of people make their living off of trash talking Chili, and they get all their millions of views and likes from saying bad things about Chili and delete Lawz. So basically, from my perspective, he's created a whole industry of bottom feeders who are basically living off of him in order to pay their bills if their channel is monetized.
Secondly, calling me a bottom feeder is disingenuous at best. Not to mention downright rude, Michael. Are all of you alpha males this sassy? You think I'm making a living off Chili? Are you serial? The amount of money I make off these videos doesn't come anywhere close to covering the amount of time I put into writing and editing them, and I'm okay with that. You know why? Because after hounding his ass for months, Chili finally stopped live streaming and driving. So, Mission accomplished. Yeah, you're welcome, by the way. I mean, if a guy were cynical, he might suggest that you are more the beneficiary of Chili at this point. I mean, you had less subscribers than me a couple weeks ago, and now you have over 1,000 more than me. Sure, maybe your channel isn't monetized, but it's free advertising for you, which I think we can both agree is very, very valuable. So after doing Chili, not to mention everybody else, what I consider to be a huge favor, what do I get for my troubles? Besides you calling me a bottom feeder, I mean. Well, your little First Amendment loving friend threatened to sue me. He had no grounds to do so, of course. Didn't stop him from sending me a really stupid cease and desist email, though. Which brings us around to satire and parody, specifically Chili's lack of understanding of it. Which brings me to my special guest, AI Chili, a First Amendment protected parody version of Chili.
How's it hanging, everybody?
Chili, of course, loves First Amendment rights. His First Amendment rights. Mine, not so much. He didn't seem to grasp that the First Amendment protects parody and satire. On that same note, why is it that I'm banned over on Delete Lawz live chats, but you, or anyone else, is free to comment on mine? Why is that? Anyway, long story short, Chili tried to use Midler versus Ford Motor Company as case law, which doesn't have anything to do with anything. I made a couple videos showing Chili just how wrong he was, and I'm not going to rehash it here, but let's just say the upshot is Chili's understanding of case law is just as bad as his understanding of satire and parody. So it seems appropriate we have little AI Chili give us the definition of satire and parody. That way we can all be on the same page. Take it away, little buddy.
Satire and parody are both forms of creative expression that involve humor, irony, and often social commentary, but they differ in their intent and approach. Satire. Satire is a literary or artistic technique that uses humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to criticize and mock societal issues, human behavior, institutions, or individuals. Its primary purpose is to provoke thought, expose flaws, and stimulate change or reflection on the subject being satirized. Satire often employs wit and cleverness to convey its message in a way that challenges norms or highlights absurdities.
One of the most prominent examples of American satire is, of course, The Simpsons, which has long taken jabs at various aspects of our culture. The 2006 film Idiocracy is a sadly prescient and not entirely far-fetched vision of the continual dumbing down of our society. But satire doesn't have to be comedy. 1984 is a grim examination of oppressive government that questions the nature and power of freedom. American Psycho skewers the mindset of the 1980s Wall Street executive in what some consider a horror film, although I think it's more of an extremely dark comedy. RoboCop, ostensibly an action flick, is rife with satirical elements.
I'd buy that for $1.
Point is, it runs the gamut.
Parody, on the other hand, is a comedic imitation or spoof of a specific work, style, genre, or person. It mimics the characteristics, themes, or elements of the original work in a humorous or exaggerated manner for comedic effect. Unlike satire, which targets broader social or political issues, parody focuses on humorously mimicking and poking fun at a specific subject or target.
One of my favorite movies ever, Airplane, is a direct parody of the 1957 disaster movie 0 Hour. Jason Alexander played a parody version of Larry David on Seinfeld, and then Larry David went on to play a parody version of himself on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And by the way, the Curb Your Enthusiasm finale was itself a parody of the Seinfeld finale. On YouTube, I enjoy Pete Holmes' Batman parodies, and as a drummer, I really appreciated this parody of a drum instructional video.
What's up, guys? Today I'm going to teach you how to play Hot for Teacher by Van Halen. Iconic intro goes something like this.
When it comes to music parody, the most recent example would be The Lonely Island, but the undisputed heavyweight champ is, of course, Weird Al Yankovic, seen here in the parody film The Naked Gun. So much parody.
In essence, satire aims to critique and provoke thought about societal issues, while parody aims to entertain by imitating and exaggerating elements of a particular work or style for comedic effect. Both forms of expression rely on humor and irony, but differ in their underlying purposes and targets.
And of course, satire and parody often intermix. Saturday Night Live, Mad Magazine, and Mad TV, In Living Color, Key and Peele are all varying combinations of the two. Idiocracy is a satire that also uses parodied versions of real companies to make its points.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Both America Tonight and The Larry Sanders Show are parodies of late-night talk shows, but both manage to satirize the entertainment industry as well. The Eric Andre Show was an insanity-fueled parody of a late-night talk show, which Eric literally proceeded to beat to death with a baseball bat. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is a parody of the sitcom format that heavily satirizes American culture.
Shut up, baby dick.
Within that framework, they've also parodied other movies and shows, and frequently even satirized themselves. Quite a feat. This next one's one of my favorite examples of a big ball of satire and parody. In 1984, Weird Al Yankovic did a parody cover of Huey Lewis's I Want a New Drug called I Want a New Duck. In the year 2000, American Psycho starring Christian Bale comes out. As we mentioned, it's a satire of the mindset of Wall Street executives in the 1980s. One of the most famous scenes in the film is when Christian Bale, just prior to murdering Jared Leto with an axe, gives a speech extolling the virtues of Huey Lewis's music while playing Hip to Be Square on his stereo. In 2013, Funny or Die created a parody of American Psycho with Huey Lewis and Weird Al, where they recreate this scene, but Huey gives a speech about American Psycho. It ends with Huey killing Al with an axe, and then telling him,
"Try parodying one of my songs now, you stupid bastard."
Got that? In other words, it's a parody of a satire, in which a guy whose music is essential to that satire confronts and kills a parody artist who made a version of his song years ago, literally killing the parody with satire. We're through the looking glass here, people. Alright, so I think we all get the picture, right? But as far as me not knowing what I'm talking about regarding the uniform regs, well, I quoted directly from the Marine Uniform Manual. Not, repeat, not the UCMJ. You claim I don't know what I'm talking about, and to bolster that point, you left a comment to school everyone. Yeah, except I looked up that UCMJ reg number 26-270 and nada. When I googled it, I did find a similar reg number, 26-170, not 270, in the Arizona Revised Statutes that contains nearly the exact quote you mentioned. So hey, if you think the Arizona Revised Statutes trump the Marine Uniform Regulations, awesome. And if you want to claim what you're doing is a performance or parody, even better. By the way, Michael's little dress-up deal isn't limited to the silver screen. Check out this snazzy ad for his law firm. Looking sharp, buddy. And now, one more example of parody. A militarily relevant one. Arlie Ermy, a real-life Marine drill sergeant, played, essentially, himself to great acclaim in Full Metal Jacket. It's so over the top, some might initially think it is a parody when in fact it is not. Now, in The Frighteners, he did play himself again as a ghost based on his public persona. This is clearly a parody, parodying himself, or his image anyway. So, is that what you're doing here? Because I'm not seeing it. A parody of yourself as a boot Marine? Because if so, the most relevant example of media to compare you to would be Gomer Pyle.
Hey, that almost makes us kind of like brothers.
Say, that's a great idea for a YouTube show for you. Gomer Pyle, attorney at law. No charge for the idea.
Shazam!
In the end, this is not something I even really care about that much. I'm certainly not interested in going back and forth about it. I mean, if you want to dress up like a dorky boot Marine, go for it. Really makes me know never mind. At least it gives everyone more opportunity to laugh at you, because we're certainly not going to laugh at any of your comments. Let me be clear about that last part, because it's a very important point in comedy, satire, parody, or otherwise. Getting an audience to laugh with you is good. Laughing at you? Not so much. And as a footnote to all this, I saw that Team DLZ shared out your video about the actual malice standard. Chili should know all about it, since I had to school him on it in one of my previous videos. Good to know you understand the dangers of making statements about people with reckless disregard of falsity. Have a nice day, Gomer.
We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine.